This is the Barker Cast, the only Clive Barker podcast. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss a release. In episode 342, Jose and Ryan talk about the new UHD Blu-Ray releases, what's new in the Clive Barker Archive Threadless store, and Bobby's live stream performance, and we catch up all the way to round 3 of the Duels of Blood. Go vote at www.duelsofblood.com. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and up to 50% of the proceeds go to the Art in Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the side banner and follow the link to the Etsy shop to have a look. Well, welcome. This is episode 342 of the Clive Barker podcast. Good afternoon, Jose.
Hey, Ryan. I know it's probably 8:30 for you over there, or almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
We're marching on to episode 400, huh? 342, maybe
Yeah,
by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we get 52 episodes a year. Yeah, so this is a news episode, and then we're going to review the Duels of Blood. We actually are a couple of rounds behind, so we haven't talked about Duels of Blood in a little while, so that'll be fun to kind of catch up on that.
Yeah, it's the brackets are getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it makes it less work for me every time, which I like.
And less to talk about, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so I guess news from the Reef. I guess for starters, Ann Bobby's show, I got to watch that streaming. The Ann Bobby's Still Standing and streaming at 54 Below in New York. That was streamed live, and I watched that. And I have to say, first of all, Ann Bobby was awesome. She sang all these, she sang these kind of medleys and cover tunes and stuff, and it lasted about just a little over an hour. She did a really good job. Her backup band was amazing.
Nice.
And the streaming was really good. I mean, I saw Guar, like one of these sort of pandemic, streaming concerts, and they had serious technical issues, and I was kind of afraid it might be like that. But these guys, they streamed it live, and they had multiple camera angles, and the sound was all synced up. It never had any skipping or anything. It was just awesome. It was really good.
So it was a multi-camera thing going on. They were editing between shots. That's nice.
Yeah, I think 2 cameras.
I didn't get to see it. I was doing something else at the time. I was out. But that's great. And did she talk? Was it just music and medleys? And did she say anything about her career or any stories about anything?
No, it was all songs. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Did she sing Johnny Get Angry?
No, I was waiting for that, but I think it didn't really match the mood of what she was doing.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I was kind of hoping that might be in there. But she did mention me by name. She thanked me and the Clive Barker podcast.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Ann.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Oh, that's amazing. And of course, she's accepted to write the introduction or the foreword for our interview book, right?
Not only has she accepted, but she just sent it to me this morning. I haven't opened it yet, so you and I will have to read that here after we get done with the podcast. I'm excited about that, and she's introduced us. She's working on introducing us to a publisher for the book too.
That's wonderful news.
We'll have publishing, we'll have editing wrapped up, and we'll have our introduction or preface by Ann Bobby.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I love Ann.
Yeah,
she's great.
This whole book is coming together, and it's in big thanks to her. Kind of like Occupy Midian, thanks to Ann Bobby.
That's true. She's been there all throughout this process.
Yeah, which was why we asked her to do the preface.
What a wonderful actor and performer.
Yeah. Patrick K. Walsh, he posted pictures on the Occupy Midian Facebook group of being there live in person, and so that's kind of neat too. If you didn't get a chance to see it, he's got a photo of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He's like getting a hug from Ann and pointing at her with his flamingo shirt, and it's great. Yeah. And also the venue looks amazing. I was looking at Feinstein's at 54 Below. It's such a beautiful venue. Wow.
Yeah, I wonder where that name came from, because it's probably never been 54 Below in New York.
Yeah. Broadway's super club and private event destination.
Yeah, well, if they're the ones who did the video streaming, they did an amazing job.
Yeah, well, the 54 Below comes from being in 54th Street in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, maybe it's a downstairs venue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and this is no kind of segue at all, but Kino Lorber announced Transmutations 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, and we were all just floored. So I think we've reported this news before, but it was oh my gosh, what's his name? George Pavlou.
Yes.
Kept saying on his Instagram, "Hey, there's gonna be a new Blu-ray of Transmutations," and we're all kind of like, well, he didn't mention a company, so you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at that post on Instagram right now. He posted that on New Year, January 3rd, and he was like, "Happy New Year, all! Looking forward to the remastered release of my film Underworld on Blu-ray later this year." And that was all he said. And then he had like an image of like the poster, a terrible poster actually, but it's just a poster of like the painting of Nicole. And then there's the main character. What was his name? The painter guy.
Oh God, I forgot.
I forgot.
He's the main character too, and I can't.
Oh
even
my
read.
God. Yeah, but him with a gun to his head, and then the headlights of a car.
Yeah.
And so now we know who's putting it out, right? Now we know it's going to be Kino Lorber. And I'm looking at the article in Blu-ray.com just to see what the specs are. It says it's going to be 103 minutes, not rated. So it's probably that Laserdisc version that we saw, but it's going to be 4K restoration. So, wow, good news for everybody who's got a 4K Blu-ray player and a big TV.
Right, yeah, because there was never even an HD version of this movie, right? It's going to be skipping straight over to Ultra HD.
Yeah.
Except that I'm sure that there'll be a regular Blu-ray in the package because they always do that.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Welsh pop band Freuer, who did the soundtrack for this. Yeah. That music got released, right? Or is getting released, I'm not sure.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I think they were releasing that too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Freuer also did the soundtrack for Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of nuts that we're going to finally be able to hear the soundtrack for Transmutations.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, so they are also doing Rawhead Rex again, but this time in 4K.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I saw the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema when I lived in Arizona, like maybe 2-3 years ago. I saw the 4K restoration that was being screened at the Alamo Drafthouse, but I'm not sure if I was actually watching a projection in 4K or if it was the 2K that they put on the Blu-ray.
That's a little misleading because they say, when they talk about something as a 4K restoration or a 2K restoration, the film is in 4K or 2K or whatever, but then they...
Yeah, they scan it in 4K, but then sometimes in the Blu-ray they put it as a 2K version.
Or just 1080p. I think the Rawhead Rex is actually just 1080p. The Arrow Scarlet Box is only 1080p. I was going back and looking at my collection earlier, thinking how many 4K actual 4K or ultra high definition releases do I actually own? And a bunch of them that I thought were like that are actually they're just 1080p regular HD Blu-rays, but they say they had a 2K scan or a 4K scan or whatever.
Still good though. Still decent. Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually own 3. I have Godzilla vs. Kong, I have Transformers the movie, and I have Candyman 2021. Those are my 3 Ultra HD releases that I own, but I don't have a Blu-ray player that can play them yet.
You remember when we did the commentary track for Transmutations, I photoshopped your face onto the face of the monster doctor?
Yeah.
And then for New Year's Eve, for April's Fool, a few years ago, we made the news that Transmutations 2 was coming out, and I even made a fake poster with Nicole inside a Erlenmeyer, flask. And I was like, oh my gosh, people fell for it. It was great.
And on our listeners Facebook group, if you're not in there, go ahead and join it. But on our Clive Barker Podcast listeners group, David was joking around when we posted this news saying, he thought he checked to the date again to make sure it wasn't April Fool's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is strange, right? It seems like Kino Lorber seems a little too classy to be doing this release.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing it though.
Yeah.
It's like some of my favorite Blu-ray releases are, from smaller things that put out obscure movies, like Severin films or Vinegar Syndrome and stuff like that. They put out a lot of good stuff. They make new covers for it, alternate covers. They interview people involved with the film. It's just good stuff, It's great to see these movies get some love because some of these movies become obscure and most people don't know about it. Just last night I was watching a movie from 1987 called Retribution. Special effects by Kevin Yeager, by the way. And it's a great movie. It's like a depressed artist tries to commit suicide jumping off his building. And then at the same time, some Italian guy is getting whacked in the city by a bunch of criminals who he owed money to. And then when that happens, his spirit jumps into the body of the guy who's just fell off his hotel trying to commit suicide. And when he goes to sleep after recovering from that attempt, he wakes up and he goes take revenge on the people who murdered him. So he has a dual personality at night, and his body is taken over by the soul of this guy wanting revenge, and he has magical powers. So it's a great movie. Great. Yeah, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. And it's like nobody knows about this movie, Retribution 1987. And then I found out that Severin Films put out a wonderful Blu-ray. It's available for $30. I think I might just go ahead and get that because I enjoy the movie and I want to see it in Blu-ray.
I want to get a 4K UHD Blu-ray player. So I've been shopping around trying to find a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One Series X. But those have a 4K player? Yeah, but they're really hard to get. Stupid. The chip shortages and because of the pandemic, they made them available online, so scalpers were buying them by the thousands, and so that they could sell them at inflated prices. And here we are, like 2 years later, they still can't get them in stores.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
my brother actually got like a PlayStation 4 as soon as it came out in Portugal. He managed to order one. When it was like
5, you mean?
A 5, yeah. 5. When I don't know, I don't have a PlayStation, but when that stuff was being put out for sale, he managed to buy one off a website as soon as it was put out, and then 2 minutes later it was gone.
Oh wow!
And so he's had one since almost like the launch of PlayStation 5. He was really lucky.
That's the main reason I want him because I have 4K TVs, so I just need the player to be able to play those.
So this new Underworld 4K Blu-ray restoration apparently has a new Dolby Vision HDR grade transfer. So whatever that is, I'm sure you cinephiles out there and you Blu-rayophiles, you probably know more about this than I do. I collect VHS tapes, so I don't know a lot about super UK, Ultra HD UK, stuff. Wait, did I say UK? Ultra HD.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the discussion about this release is also that movie is so muddy, right? It's really hard to watch because it's hard to even just see what's going on.
Yeah, it was a bad Laserdisc transfer, yeah.
Yeah, and the DVD was a bad Laserdisc transfer. The VHS didn't look good either. I mean, it was just it will be really neat to see it all cleaned up. I mean, and also the movie mostly takes place at night, so that doesn't help either.
Blu-ray.com does state that this will be a double disc release, 2 Blu-ray discs. So, yeah, it says 4K Blu-ray region free and 2K Blu-ray region A for sure. They don't know if it's going to be B or C yet. So it's still in the early stages. We don't know the specs and, what's going to be in it, if there's going to have like special features or whatever. Awesome. It's going to come out late 2022.
Well, and the Rawhead Rex 4K version that they're going to do, I'm assuming will be really similar to the HD one that we already got from Kino Lorber. So I think probably when I get that, I'm going to put my Blu-ray copy in our pile for giveaways and stuff.
Brand new Dolby Vision HDR master from a new 16-bit 4K scan of the original camera negative. Oh. And it seems like they've done the same thing for Candyman, right? Candyman is being put out by Shout Factory, not Kino Lorber. But There's a new collector's edition with an exclusive poster that's supposed to be released in May 24, 2022.
It has 3 discs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was checking to see what was different from the previous version they put out. So you remember they put out a new 2K restoration from a new 4K scan of the original negative, supervised and approved by director Bernard Rose. This one came out, I think, in 2018. Yep. Yeah. It was 2018 November that came out. And now they're putting out this new Candyman edition, and it has new bonus features, right?
Yeah, and there are like 4 different audio commentaries on there. It's amazing.
Yeah, this one says disc 1 will have a new 4K master of the original negative, supervised and approved by writer-director Bernard Rose and director of photography Anthony B. Richmond by Arrow Video. And then there's going to have a new 4K Ultra HD presentation in Dolby Vision, HDR10 compatible, of both cuts of the film, theatrical R-rated and the unrated version, featuring alternate, more graphic footage and presented via seamless branching. So seamless branching is that thing where they allow
they cut the scenes in while it's playing.
Yeah, so that way they don't have to have 2 versions of the movie in the Blu-ray. They can just put in the different scenes and then tell the Blu-ray, okay, after this scene, if you're watching the theatrical, you follow on this scene, but if you're watching the unrated, you jump to that scene instead, and it's seamless. So you don't.
Can we talk about this unrated version for a second? Because they talk about it like it's common knowledge, but I'd never heard of an unrated version of Candyman before.
Oh, yeah.
Had you?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I thought I watched the unrated version. I thought the one that we saw on the other Blu-ray was the unrated version, right?
Is it? I thought
maybe this one has.
I thought there was only one version of. I mean, and of course, for people out there, if you're confused, we're talking about the original '90s Candyman, not the new 2021 Candyman.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's being released on 4K by Shout Factory in May.
In May.
But yeah, I thought there was only one version of Candyman, and I'd never heard of like any kind of alternate cut until now.
The other Shout Factory Blu-ray that came out already had the unrated cut. Oh. It was on disc 2. It was the 2K restoration, so that's already come out on the previous Shout Factory Blu-ray.
I don't think I have that one. I think I only have the Shout Factory Candyman 2.
Oh, okay. So the one that has like the beacomb background, and then he's opening his jacket and he's putting his hook to his heart. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that came out November 2018. That's the one that has all those like interviews and audio commentaries and Sweets to the Sweet, the Candyman mythos with interviews with Bernard Rose and Clive Barker. It's got all that stuff. So you should get that one. It's pretty good. There's interviews with Tony Todd.
I'll get this one, I think.
Yeah. Because I think all the stuff that was in the previous one that I was talking about, it's also going to be in this. Yep, it's going to have all that stuff because this one is a 3 Blu-ray unrated cut, release. So it's going to have everything the other one had and more. Yeah. But so help me out here. Can we play 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays in regular Blu-ray players?
No, that's what I was saying before. That's why I'm shopping around for a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why they always include regular HD Blu-rays in with those 4K releases, so that if somebody doesn't buy it and return it again.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have the other one, so I guess probably still buy this one because one day I'll have an Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray player. So, this would be a great thing to put on the shelf.
Yeah, definitely. And and I was looking at the Transformers 4K release that I got.
Oh man,
Transformers the movie.
Yes,
and the 4K is the theatrical version widescreen. And then the Blu-ray regular HD version that's packed in with it is the
full frame
is the full frame television version.
Ah, wow!
So it's like that. That's cool that they did that, but at the same time, they're kind of penalizing people for not having the 4K Blu-ray player.
Once you get that PlayStation 5 or their Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to see that in glorious 4K.
Yeah.
I just bought myself a new monitor for my computer, actually, which is a 4K monitor, and it's a 28 inch. So now
Wow.
now I can play games and have bigger like window sizes, and I could put more stuff on my screen. I still want to get a double, monitor setup, because that's a dream, right?
I have
Having two.
a 40-inch UHD TV as my monitor.
Wow.
Which is cool for most things, but also like looking up at the stuff at the top of the screen is hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
And also I have to put the camera off to the side, because if I put it up high, then it's looking down on the top of my head.
So is that comfortable for your eyes to have a TV instead of a monitor? I think there might be some differences between a monitor and a TV in the way they present the image, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a 4K panel. It's got a...
Yeah, I guess these new panels are pretty much the same, right? The same kind of displays.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just the main difference is that they have sound built in, and a TV tuner, and the annoying smart TV apps. I'm still
the kind of kid that grew up saying, don't sit too close to the TV. It'll damage your eyes. And I still have that a little bit in the back of my skull now.
Well, and I think that was because parents didn't want you blocking the TV.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Point well taken.
But also, old TVs, the refresh rate was way lower, right? So it was flickering on your eyes a lot more than they do now.
Yeah, I think that even modern displays for TVs just have more latency than an actual computer monitor. We're getting too technical here. So the Candyman Collector's Edition 4K Ultra HD is coming out May 24. Yeah. And I see that the price for this pre-order
$32 or something like that.
$35.99.
Yeah.
The list price is going to be $39.98. So if you pre-order it, I guess you save $4.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm definitely want to get that. Of course, now how many copies of Candyman am I gonna own? Every time I get one, I get it autographed, and then I don't want to get rid of it.
Right. Yes. Well, it's part of the collection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a collector does. He gets several versions of the same thing. And
yeah. No, I'm excited about that. And actually, all these 4K releases, I want to watch more stuff in 4K.
I just saw someone on the Clive Barker collectors group say, "And with these books, my collection of Clive Barker is complete." I'm like, is it really? Is it?
Yeah.
Do you really have all this stuff that came out?
I saw that too, and it's
had like the Imaginer books, and it's like I'm pretty sure you don't have everything.
No. Yeah, I mean, even in like people that think they know everything there is to know, if you say like, "Have you read Pigeon and Teresa?" They'll be like, "What's that?"
Yeah, I haven't. I still have to get that. Come on, Clive, put out that anthology of hard to find stories.
Yeah. Well, Fear Eternal, right? I think I'm hoping that'll collect all of these ones that are on these rare books, like Best New Horror Volume 4, Cutting Edge, Prime Evil.
Whatever title they pick for that, I'll be there for it. Yeah. I'll get a copy. I've already pre-ordered the Phil and Sarah book, by the way.
Oh, that's right. You can pre-order that now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yes. So it was available to pre-order from the publisher or from like Amazon and other bookstores and stuff.
I did it on Amazon. I know you were trying to see if there's going to be a signed version or something. I already just went ahead and got it.
Yeah.
And it'll charge me and ship me whenever it comes out, which I think is later this year. So I don't know.
Well, Phil and Sarah, if you're listening and you want to tell us if there's going to be a version that we can buy from the archive that's signed by you guys, let us know, because I think that would be...
Or Clive.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
all three.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of Phil and Sarah, if you go to the Clive Barker Archive Threadless store, they have mugs now with cool Clive Barker paintings on them.
Yeah, you can drink tea or coffee or whatever your favorite poison is through these mugs, and do it in style.
The Clive Barker podcast does not endorse the drinking of poison.
You also have these cool masks and fine art prints and some really good T-shirt designs they've been putting out. I really love the Boo one with the demon.
Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
skeleton kind of scaring, which is one of the one of my wedding gifts that you gave me was a laser engraved wooden bowl with Boo. So I still have it in my kitchen.
Yep. I'm sorry that was unlicensed, Phil and Sarah. I had that made custom though, so
it's one of a kind. Nobody cares.
And if you go on their store, I hadn't visited the store in a while. There's some awesome stuff like Thief of Always drawings on black T-shirts, and the Hellraiser Frank peeking out of the door with the Clive Barker signature next to it.
Yes, from the original teaser poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And notebooks with Clive Barker paintings printed on the covers.
Yeah. And
neck gaiters, masks, greeting cards. Pretty amazing stuff there. I got to go and get myself a mask for the Terry cat mask. That looks so cool.
What are they doing in our area? It's like nobody wears masks for anything anymore, except for like at the airport.
Yeah, I mean, I still wear a mask when I go to Kroger. Honestly, I've been going to restaurants and I haven't worn a mask anymore because I'm boosted. I got all my shots. I got
same here.
COVID earlier in the year at Christmas, actually, last Christmas.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's like at this point, I think most people already got it around here. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that's kind of in the rearview mirror now. I guess we'll see.
We're going to have 2020 and 2021 PTSD years to come.
God. Duels of Blood, right? So if you go all the way back to round 2, that ended on March 6th, actually. And so in round 2, we had Harvey Swick versus the Madonna. And surprisingly enough, the Madonna won that one.
Wow. Look at that. An obscure character from one story in the Books of Blood beat the protagonist of a whole book.
Yeah. And then another sort of, I think this is a little bit of an upset, Dr. Philip Decker versus Candyman. And Decker took it.
Hey, Dr. Decker.
Yeah.
Cronenberg himself.
Yeah, I know. I actually kind of wanted Candyman to win that one.
Well, it's been the year of Candyman. Last year was the year of Candyman. So I think he had a good run so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't beat Dr. Decker. I'm sorry. Dr. Decker is so much more well known in like the horror thing.
You think so? I don't know. I think Candyman is more well known than Decker.
Well, now it is, yeah. But for years, people loved just the villain.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Nightbreed fans, Decker is definitely like really huge. But I think for horror fans in general, I don't know. I think Candyman probably is ahead.
That's true. Okay, I guess you got a point there. They're both big. So, but only one shall stand, one shall fall. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, exactly.
So Dr. Decker took it and moves on to round number 3.
Yeah, and then next we got Pinhead versus Angelique. This one is not a surprise. Hell Priest, Pinhead from Hellraiser 1 and 2 and so forth.
All the way, baby.
Yeah, he won. Yeah. And it was, he had 53% of the votes. Angelique had 45%. So not like a big upset, but, I expected him to win.
Yeah, I really like Angelique, but I love the Hell Priest more,
Yeah. And then we had Christopher Carrion versus the Zarapushu.
Wow.
Yeah, who do you think won this one?
I know who won this one because I'm looking right at it.
Yeah.
And the little squid, Zarapushu, the little squid from the Dream Sea of Quiddity, he took this one with 77% of the votes.
Well, and the interesting thing about when you look at this is that this particular match had more votes, had double the votes of all the other matches in the whole round.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Somebody
pretty close,
out there is like a major fan of the Zarapushu, and they wanted their voice heard.
I'm a big fan of the Zarapushu.
Yeah,
didn't I say something that I wanted to vote for them on the last?
Yeah, I did too.
I did. I think there's more to the shoe than we were led to believe by reading the Great and Secret Show and Everville. They're like little god creatures, right? Almost.
Yeah. They're described as, I think, spirit pilots.
So I would love to know what Clive has in store for the next volume of the Great and Secret Show, because I would love for the Zarapushu to have a bigger role.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I think he has lots of big changes in between volumes of the art, right? If you just look at between the Great and Secret Show and Everville, there was what we thought we knew about the Iad Ouroboros was totally different. Turned out to be totally different by the time of Everville.
I got 2 words, Clive. Crockenshoe.
Okay, yeah, release the shoe.
Spirit guide this, and then a giant tentacle comes out of Quiddity.
Yeah,
and grabs hold of the Ouroboros.
And next up, we had a kind of an upset, right? Because we got an obscure comics Cenobite pair of characters versus a well-known but pretty despicable character from the Great and Secret Show. Kissoon versus Bright Eyes and the Voice.
Yes, that's very surprising. Maybe because these were Cenobites, and there's a lot of Hellraiser fans out there.
Yeah.
But Bright Eyes and the Voice ended up winning 57% of the votes against Kissoon. And I know, Kissoon is not really a sympathetic character.
No.
He's an interesting character, though. He's Everville made him more nuanced, I think, because we got to see his backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a product of his, life story. But at the same time, it's like he's really a jerk.
Yeah, he's
awful. A nasty jerk. Yeah, he's awful.
Yeah, and we talked about this last episode, but Kissoon is sort of the Casper Wolfswinkel of the Great and Secret Show.
Right. He's the bad wizard. Do you remember what Bright Eyes and the Voice did in their story? I was trying to remember what this was about.
No, I remember we covered it when we talked about the Hellraiser comics, but now I've...
wasn't this that story about a mother who goes to hell to save her baby who opened up the...
Oh, maybe that's it.
I think so. I'm not sure. We'll have to reread this at some point.
Yeah, but and actually now this makes me think about the Scarlet Gospels, and Pinhead became the character who kills the Circle of Wizards.
That's right. Yes. The Scarlet Gospels. Yeah, when they bring back that guy in the necromantic ritual, and he's like, why did you guys bring me back? Let me just undo the spell and let me be dead before the guy comes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. I think Raul was saying in the Discord chat that we should cover more like overarching themes that reappear in Clive Barker books. And I think that's one of them, the Circle of Wizards, that are killed by by one greedy evil wizard.
I never noticed that, but that's an excellent point.
And then another one we've talked about a lot, but the evil is always undone by its own appetite.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The Jaff opening up the art and getting his hands, torn apart by the...
Yep. Mammalian wanting to live forever, but at the same time becoming super lonely and being consumed by his own, desire of having a companion. And, or in Lord of Illusions, Nyx, who also kind of gets consumed by his own hunger.
And Frank in Hellraiser.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's a really obvious one. And then Mr. Hood, right?
Yeah, that's always a stepping stone from the Faustian tale. Someone's getting old and tired and he wants more out of life, and then he strikes a bargain, or he does a breakthrough that gives him more power, and then he ends up being consumed by it.
Well, I suppose we'd better move on. We got female Cenobite, the Barbie Wild version from Hellraiser 2, versus Narcisse. And Barbie Wild's female Cenobite put up a good fight.
She did.
But ultimately, Narcisse took that one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, She's up against such a charismatic character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all depends on who's voting at the time. These things can go in crazy wild directions too.
Yep. We're having a good smattering of both Nightbreed and Cenobites going to the next round.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of which, Kinski versus Dr. Chenard. A pair up that you never would have seen if it weren't for the random generator. And Dr. Chenard took it. He won.
Both characters with weirdly shaped things attached to their heads.
Yeah, I suppose.
Sorry, Nicholas Vince. In this case, we hand it over to Dr. Chenard.
Yeah.
With his gigantic tentacle penisaurus thing attached to his brain.
Dragging him around.
Again, the Hellraiser fandom kind of took this one.
Yeah. Ashbury versus Pi Opa.
Ashbury, played by, what was his name?
Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith, right, thank you. The very vertical actor, right? That's what Andre Furtado told us. He always looks up and down, nods up and down in the scenes. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like his character that much in Nightbreed. Pi is a much more intriguing, much more interesting character. So,
and Pi is it represents probably universally Clive Barker's most beloved book by the fans.
Yeah, of course, in Magica. Yeah. I did vote for Pi on this one as well. So
I did too. I mean, and I met Malcolm Smith. He was a nice guy and everything. But Pi is a better character, I think.
Yes. I would love to see him like cast in some adaptation. I mean, I don't even know who would be a good character to play Pi, honestly. I mean, who would be a good actor to be cast as Pi, because it would have to be someone very androgynous, right?
Yeah. Well, and actually, you know what? I just finished watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they had an episode where there was an alien creature that had Pi-Opa's power, so she would turn into whatever the person she was with desired the most.
Oh, was that like that Riker episode where he falls in love with a genderless alien?
No, it was a different one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
gotcha. And that was played by, oh God, what's her name? That played Dorothea on
Famke Janssen.
Yeah, she was that alien creature.
Well, wow.
Yeah. So it had two Clive Barker connections in one episode.
Nice.
So there's got to be somebody on the writing team that was like a Clive Barker fan.
Yeah, it depends on when that episode came out, because Magica came out in 92, right?
Right.
91.
Yeah, and the Star Trek series started in like 87, but it ran for 7 years.
That's true. Yeah, so probably was around that time.
Yeah.
Another thing about the character of Pi, if they ever do a live adaptation of this, would be that he would be played by multiple actors, right? Because some people would look at him and see a completely different person. Do they see a different person? I think only when he wants them to, right? It's not like automatic. Yeah, I think I remember someone, looking at Pi and being like, "Oh, she's hot," and seeing like someone like blonde or something. I don't know if I'm misremembering this.
Maybe that's right. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, and I think Gentle was the only one who kind of cut through it and actually saw Pi for who he was. Yeah.
Actually, when you rolled your character for Jericho, I thought about having you roll percentile dice, and if you got like a 1 out of 100, then you could become
a Mistiff.
A Mistiff. But then I thought, well, you didn't really ask to be a Mistiff, so I didn't want to force that on you because of a dice roll, because that's a complete change, of what the character is. That
would put me in some interesting situations, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on the NPC that I was talking to.
Yeah.
But Pi 1, this wonderful portrait image here that we see of Pi, that made by Clive Barker, and he's kind of like in this pose, almost like a Gioconda, right? Like the Mona Lisa.
Right. Yeah, it's a cool image. I mean, our little thumbnail doesn't do the actual painting justice.
Next was an interesting pair up. It was Babette from Nightbreed versus Raoul, the enunciate monkey from the Great and Secret Show.
I did not expect this to happen, but I think it's our resident Great and Secret Show fan that voted for the shoe also probably made this happen.
Yeah, I told you I was going to vote for Raoul, though. Yeah, so I was expecting Raoul to win because I love this character.
But you probably only account for one of those votes.
Yeah, that's true. And Raoul got 61% versus Babette.
Yeah.
I think, Babette has had she's had a good run in like being a favorite of Nightbreed fans. Even when Midian Unmade, right? I remember the guys publishing that were saying that, okay, we got enough Babette stories. Please don't send any more Babette stories.
Yeah.
That was the submission, was a lot of Babette stories.
Yeah, and it makes sense because she would, she was a kid in the book, and if we're going to the present day, she would be an adult now. So it'd be interesting to see where her life went.
Yeah.
You know what? I still haven't read the book.
And how far would her transformation go? Because she only transformed partially in the. No, I mean she transformed completely. Yeah, into that creature with the big black eyes.
Yeah, and it's because she was half werewolf, right? Because Toledo was her father, and the other half was the smoke lady.
Shapeshifter.
Yeah. So Rachel. So it was she had really strange parents, and it would be interesting to see what Babette could do if she wasn't dying in the sun.
Yeah. What would her adult fully transform? What would be her final form? And
like a CGI version of that creature running around.
Maybe like a really intimidating but cute werewolf-shaped creature.
Yeah, that can turn into smoke. Maybe. Yeah, and that's why in Rachel in Nightbreed she says to be smoke or a wolf. So she's talking about herself and her husband.
Oh, that's a good catch, Ryan. That is a good catch.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so, and next we've got Malingo from Aberrat Books versus Laurie Winston from...
You jumped one. I'm sorry. We got Rachel versus Vasti Moses.
Oh, it's because I was just talking about Rachel, so that made me...
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. But, I mean, so Rachel is really well known in the movie because she's, a humanoid creature. She has a lot of dialogue. Vasti Moses doesn't, and still he's so much more striking. And he took this one, right?
In a way, he's sort of the face of Nightbreed too, because in some editions he's right there on the cover.
Yeah, the VHS. There's a VHS British edition that has him on the hardshell cover.
Yeah,
and he's on the cover of the Nightbreed Chronicles.
And actually, when I said that the Zarapushi one had double the votes of all the other ones, this one does too.
Yeah, look at that. He got 69 votes. Nice.
Yeah.
Versus Rachel having 29.
Yeah, so 70% versus 50% or 30%. So, yeah, I guess way to go, Vasti Moses. I mean, I think Rachel is an actual speaking character, but I
gotta send this to Robbie Drake. He's the guy who played Vasti Moses in a couple of shots.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yep.
That's a good point.
So, hey, they chose you over Rachel.
Yeah. And then now we're Malingo versus Laurie. So Malingo won. I was surprised about this. I mean, I guess Malingo is a really nice and a really cool character, and people like him. He's best friends with Candy Quakenbush in Aberrat.
Malingo is now banned from Feinstein's 54 Below.
That's right.
They played my girl Laurie. Why did they do it like that? She got like 31% of the votes. I voted for Laurie.
I did too. I mean, Malingo is cool, but I had to vote for Laurie.
Oh, okay. Well, Malingo is pure at heart, I guess. Yeah. He's a little whiny, but he's pure at heart. I understand.
And he can be decapitated and still survive.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous. That was the third book, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it sort of makes you wonder if that was we talked about that, I think, but makes you wonder if that was an afterthought that, like, oh, people love that character. We got to figure out a way to make him come back. Like, well, those flaps on the side of his head? He can use those to fly his head around because because he can survive being decapitated. He'll just grow a new body.
Okay, Clive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he's kind of playing off of the idea that lizards can detach body parts and regrow them or something.
Tails and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess he was playing off of that.
Yeah.
But
in
what a weird thing.
Aberrat version of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then we've got Tesla Bombeck versus Mr. Hood, and this was very close. 53%.
Go Tesla.
To 47%.
Yeah, she's a very empowered character. She's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Tesla Bombeck from The Greatest Secret Show.
And Mr. Hood is cool, but he's not like... nobody really sympathizes or cares about what happens to Mr. Hood, right? I mean, you want Harvey to win.
Yeah, of course. It's one hero versus a villain, and it's one empowered woman versus a patriarchal figure, right? Because he's like Mr. Hood. He's the guy who wants to consume everything.
Yeah.
He wants to steal like children's youth for himself. So he put up a good fight, but ultimately, with all his power, he fell to Tesla Bombach, which is a more rounded up character, in my opinion.
We've got Puzzle Guardian versus Jimothy Terry.
I was surprised that that Puzzle Guardian got as many votes as he did. I didn't expect him to get this many votes.
He represented a point in the movie Hellraiser when you thought you kind of understood what was going on, and then all of a sudden skeleton dragon, and you're like, I don't understand this movie at all.
Like, that's my really bad rendering of his laughter as he flaps away with a lament configuration. But yeah, I mean, I had no doubt in my mind. Jimothy Terry, of course, he won. But he won with a narrow margin, 52%.
Yeah. Yep.
The man who's in the council, Aberrat Council, right?
Yeah, and he will he'll carry on to the next round.
Yep. I like him.
Well, he can speak, right? And it's the Puzzle Guardian, as far as we know, can't. Even when he's a bum, he doesn't talk.
Did we mention this before? Do you believe that the Terry cats can speak as well, just like Jimothy?
I don't think so. I think he's some sort of elevated version of them.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I mean, he calls himself a Terry cat just like the other ones. But he stands up on his hind feet, and he's bigger, and he wears clothes.
Yeah. After Malingo's flying head, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the Terry cats could actually speak. They just choose not to.
Yeah, that may be.
Yeah. Next, what a pairing, right? Skinless Julia versus Shuna Sassy.
Yeah.
Wow. Skinless Julia was played by Deborah.
And actually, both of these characters were played by dancers.
Dancers, right, right. But Skinless Julia, my favorite. It's hard to play a favorite in this because I love them both so much.
Yeah.
But Shuna Sassy took the vote. So Nightbreed won over the Hellraiser character.
And they were both good choices.
They're both good choices.
Yeah.
This was tough.
Yeah. And now, if it weren't for the random generator, we would never have seen this pairing. Pinhead from Hellraiser Judgment, played by Paul T. Taylor, versus Hepexamendios from Imagica. Why not? Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
The dead patriarchal god of Hepexamendios took the vote. Took the vote for 76%.
Yeah. I mean, and during the heyday of Hellraiser Judgment, I think it would have gone the other way, but that movie's has been out for like 4 years now or so. So
I think a lot of the votes that could have gone for this Pinhead went to, Doug Bradley's Pinhead.
Probably, yeah.
And I guess people just decided to vote for Hepexamendios because he's a very well-written character. And I'm not saying that Judgment Pinhead is bad in any way. I like Judgment. As a sequel. It was pretty decent. And like I said, I met Paul T. Taylor. We interviewed him a couple of times. Great guy. And I really like his rendition, It's much better than the other people who played Pinhead in sequels. He's way ahead of those.
Yeah, we're talking about Hellraiser Revelations. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he did a great job. He and Doug Bradley approved. Speaking of pinheads, right? Pin's head. We've got Kirsty Pinhead from the Boom Hellraiser comics versus Cabal. I mean, I think Cabal.
This one was obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Kirsty Pinhead is a cool character. I think people resonate with the concept, but Cabal is the seventh savior.
The seventh savior of Midian.
Yeah.
Yep, he won.
Yeah, he won by quite a bit.
This is the transformed version. I don't know that we've ever put like actual just Aaron Boone untransformed into this.
That's true. Yeah,
I guess now it's too late for that.
He's a pretty different character.
This is the elevated savior Boone Cabal. So of course, he won. He's a great character and a very loved character in the movie. So yeah, So Cabal moves on, and let's see who's going to get paired up on the next round, right?
Well, actually, that whole round is over too. So
yeah.
So Volume 5, Round 3, we had Shuna Sassy versus. We'll just go through these ones kind of quickly because then we're going to go into the Round 4, which is going to start as you're listening to this. So Shuna Sassy versus the Madonna. Shuna Sassy went on. Decker versus Malingo. Decker took that, so Malingo is out. Decker moves on.
Decker cut his head off, and Malingo's head just flew away.
Yeah, that's right. Pio Pa versus Jamothi Terry. So that was Pio Pa won that one.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep.
Bright Eyes and the Voice versus the Shoe.
Oh!
So our Shoe fan was not paying attention on this one because Bright Eyes and the Voice won it, and the Zarapushu they're out.
So the shoe has dropped, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. What was that? Who was that? Khrushchev. We will bury you, and he hits his shoe on the podium.
I don't subscribe to that point of view.
Hell Priest versus Tesla Bombeck. So Pinhead took that, but barely. 54% versus 46%.
He's a favorite. Of course, he's going to probably make it to the semifinals.
And then Raul versus Narcisse.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Raul.
No.
You went up against Narcisse. That's rough.
Yeah, these are big characters. These are definitely fan favorites. It's going to become more and more fan favorite as the thing progresses.
Oh, definitely. And Mendios versus Vasti Moses.
Yeah, two people with some anatomical difficulties, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
judging from the pictures.
Yeah. Hepexamendios is like a living city.
Yeah.
But he won by a lot. Poor Vasti Moses is out.
Yep. He's going back to his snowy mountain retreat.
Yeah. And then Dr. Chenard versus Cabal. And Cabal won that one.
Yikes.
Dr. Chenard's tentacle pulled his head apart and he fell down into the pit.
Yeah, so for the next round, we got Cabal, Hepexamendios, Narcisse, the Hell Priest, Bright Eyes and the Voice, Pio Pa, Decker, and Shuna Sassy. Wow, there's a lot of Nightbreed in there.
Yeah, and I ran the generator, and these will be up on the website as people are listening to this. But our next matchup, we've got the Hell Priest Pinhead versus Narcisse. We've got
my gosh,
Cabal versus Pio Pa.
Oh man,
these are all
Cabal.
hard, aren't they? Decker,
yeah.
Decker versus Hepexamendios.
Well, that one's not that hard.
I think I'd pick Hepexamendios.
Yeah, I don't know what the other fans are going to do. There's a lot of Nightbreed fans, so we'll see.
And then Bright Eyes and the Voice versus Shuna Sassy.
Bye.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Bright Eyes and the Voice made it this far.
Do you think Shuna Sassy has a chance of taking this? Like the whole thing?
Oh, she could. Yeah, I guess she could, right?
Yeah.
It depends on... A lot of it depends on that random pair generator thing and what it does.
Oh, can you imagine if it gets to Shuna Sassy versus the Hell Priest?
Yeah, that would be tough.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
It'd be great for Christine McCorkindale. We have to send her a message after the next round and let her know how this is going.
Yeah, we definitely should. We'll have to tag her on Occupy Midian and stuff.
Coolness.
Yeah.
So
that's it. Get voting. I'll have this put together when I put the episode up.
So voting starts tomorrow?
Today's Sunday.
Today.
Right? Yeah.
Sunday the 27th.
If I can get it together and get this all put together and get the podcast posted and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to start, voting on my favorite characters as well as soon as it's up. Yeah, I just vote once because we're part of this, so I don't want to skew things too much. I just vote once for each of the matches, but you big fans out there of Nightbreed, you guys better vote for your favorite character,
Yeah, so this round, round 4, we've only got 4 matches, and then after that it'll be 2 and then 1. So we're getting near the end.
What's coming up next?
we will be doing A to Z Commentary, T for Torso, and The Brood. And we actually already recorded that. It just hasn't gone up yet.
Oh, that was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And we did that with Joe Manco.
Yeah.
Of Little Spark Films.
That was fun. And then I think Catalina jumped in a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll be returning to Jericho Squad mid-April. Mm-hmm. And we've got a commentary for Mule Skinner Blues that we're going to stick in there somewhere. That's going to be coming up soon. Yeah,
the squad gets grilled by the investigator.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, what is that, Mule Skinner Blues? I don't,
no.
Never mind. Yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
My character is going to have to come to terms with spilling his beans in the wrong occasion. So
yeah.
I don't know how that's going to turn out. I have to think about what my character is going to. Is he going to come clean? Should we trust this investigator? Who is this investigator? That's something to think and plan for my character at least.
Yeah, he's not easy to fool.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull thinks I just spill the beans all the time.
Yeah. But then he does lies that are really obvious too, like, I'm just a customer.
Yeah, this talking seagull. It's just a customer.
Yeah.
And then he flies around and poops right on his head.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is this? This is such chaotic. He's such chaotic good.
Yeah.
But I love him. God bless Brent. I love him.
Yeah. All right. And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast.
Thanks for listening.